7. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes, oh, what a great step! And then he hammers it home. Broke his ankles.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well, and we're going to be talking about a very touchy topic, and it's Julius Randle. It is very tough to talk about Julius Randle because being a Knicks fan, it's just very depressing, and it's also just like, where do I start with this guy? And I feel like the question I should really put out to you guys is, what do we do with Julius Randle? And I'm not even just talking about trading him. It's like, how do we hold this guy accountable without it making it look wrong? Because this man, he's a grown man at the end of the day. Like, you don't want to baby a grown man, or you don't want to try to change a person. That's just terrible to do. That's just not what you do to a grown man. It just makes you look pathetic. It makes you look like a loser. It just makes you look like a mess of an organization if you're trying to change a person that is a grown man. He's 27 years of age. It just looks extremely stupid, especially it's going to be tough, like, however we hold this dude accountable, if we even do hold him accountable. Like, maybe we just play out the rest of the season with Julius Randle, which we will because the trade deadline's gone. But I'm talking about maybe we just play out the year without saying anything to him. We don't even know what's going on behind those closed doors, though. But it's hard to get to someone that just had an unbelievable year like Julius Randle did. Someone who was 8th in MVP voting, someone who was the most improved player, averaged over 20 points per game, insanely great shooting splits, shot over 40% from 3, 80% from the charity stripe, was just efficient, knocking down shots from the outside. He was like one of the main reasons, like, we thought the New York Knicks were going to be attractive when it came to free agency, getting guys like down the road. Like, this dude played his ass off on both ends of the floor. Like, when we thought of like a true New Yorker, or when we thought of like grit and grind Knicks, we thought of Julius Randle last year, but this year it's the complete freaking opposite. Our main attraction, along with the Tom Thibodeau, like, helped us make the playoffs, 4th seed. Acquiring a Derrick Rose helped as well. Like, that main attraction is now making us look like a clown show, making us look like a freaking circus this year. It seemed like he was a good leader, played hard no matter what. This year, he's giving up on plays. There's a lack of effort, lack of communication. There's no chemistry out there on the basketball floor at all. It doesn't seem like he holds himself accountable. Whenever there's a bad play, it looks like he looks to the refs. It's just so awful to see his body language. It's just so bad to see. And Julius Randle's still putting up decent numbers, but it's the inefficiency. Like I said, it's the lack of effort. There's more that goes into the game of basketball besides numbers. It's him not being able to help us close out games down the stretch. He just folds. He just makes boneheaded decisions. And you could say, I'm not even lying, you could say a huge reason he was successful last year was because it was an empty gym, was because there was no fans. And when we brought fans back, he didn't play the best of basketball because there's less pressure on someone when you're not playing well, because who's going to boo you? Who's really going to boo you? As, like, we're talking about Madison Square Garden here. There's going to be boos. There's going to be cheers. We're going to let you know when you're playing good basketball. We're going to let you know when you're playing bad basketball. And Randle, I do believe still he is a decent, solid, like, good basketball player. I really do believe that. But he doesn't have it up here. He doesn't have a high basketball IQ. He can't be the top option. And when you're that top option, the other players are looking to you to be that lead by example guy. And he's been a terrible lead by example guy when it comes to his attitude out there on the basketball floor. Like, yes, practice-wise in the facility, I bet he works his ass off. No doubt about it. But, yeah, Randle got that contract. He left some money on the table. But at the end of the day, he hasn't been good. His IQ's awful. Just when he comes in the game, it's starting to be like, oh, great, Julius Randle's in the game. Well, last year, we were pumped when Julius Randle was in the game. But what do we do with this guy? What do we do? Again, I'm not even talking about trading, but it's impossible to hold this guy accountable, or it's going to be hard to get to this dude in any type of way, especially coming off of the season he had. Because he'll be like, I had this unbelievable season last year. What do you mean? I'm capable of anything. Because he could always stick to that. But with Randle having the style of play of these fadeaways, like he didn't have in the past with New Orleans or with the Lakers, he didn't have an outside-oriented game. He was more inside and then a little bit of out, like mid-range territory. He didn't take a lot of threes back then. Sometimes he did with New Orleans, expanding his game. But how do you get to someone like that had this unbelievable year with this different play style? You can't get him to rein it in because he had this unbelievable year. But now we're just not attractive. Now we look like a clown show. Now we look like a circus. Because what has Julius Randle done this year? Getting texts from the bench, And it's not even just going up against these opposing players, picking up technicals, getting ejected from basketball games. Like when he shoved Cam Johnson, Julius Randle has to learn to control his emotions. He does. He is not poised down the stretch of games. He's not poised in general. The best players are poised and they know how to control their emotions. They know how to not let people get to them. If it was an altercation with Rudy Gobert last night, just for no reason. That's just him being a sore loser, in my opinion. I don't care. Who knows what Rudy Gobert said to him, but you can't let people get to you. You can't, and it's not just these opposing players he's going up against. The assistant coach. Him like freaking like shutting the laptop or just him having an attitude with the assistant coach. Realize you have to play better. Hold yourself accountable. Be more aware. Again, I don't know what Julius Randle thinks of himself, but I'm only giving you guys this perspective of what I'm seeing. Like, accept you're not playing the best of basketball. Like, be respectful to your coaches, be respectful to your teammates. And I'm sure, like, he is this good guy. He seems like a great father. I feel like he gets along with people great off the court. But on the court, it's just not there. And it's not just him drawing this narrative of, like, we look unattractive now. He was one of the main reasons we were attractive last year. You saw, like, NBA players around the league getting excited when he would have big games. But who would want to play with this guy that just continuously gets an attitude? You see, he can't recognize when to pass out of a double team, or he can't sense a double team, or he doesn't recognize when to pass it early, when to pass it late. He just doesn't know when to give up the basketball. He's an absolute black hole. You could also go to Tom Thibodeau. Obviously, you're treating him like a Carmelo Anthony, but Randle just looks selfish out there on the basketball floor. He really does. But when Randle picks up a tech, when he has a big time turnover, it just ruins the entire flow of the game and it ruins the entire momentum. And we're studying the development of these young guys when Julius Randle's on this team, this year at least, because he has shown no signs of consistent leadership. He has shown times that he could be a leader and play hard, but there's no consistency of it at all. It's setting a bad example for these young guys, even though I do think we have mentally tough young players that are very self-aware, like a Deuce McBride, Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin. We have mature young players. RJ Barrett's mature. That's why we really do like RJ Barrett, one of the reasons. But I just don't know what to do with this dude. Is it possible the Knicks bench him? You can't bench a guy, though, with this type of contract. But what do the Knicks do to hold this guy accountable? He has to be held accountable in some type of way. Or are we just going to play it out and not hold him accountable? Again, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but just continuously picking up these texts, continuously just getting this attitude. Like, he has to learn how to accept the loss. He has to learn how to just learn from his mistakes. And I'm not even joking. I don't know if he's bipolar. I don't know if he has anger issues. That's something you don't joke about. But he can go from being pissed off on the court, like three seconds later, off the court, he's getting along with people great. Maybe because he knows it's just basketball at the end of the day, and that's just his emotions. He's a competitor. But he can't let people get to him. He can't. It's just a part of Randle that he has to be more mentally tougher, let things go. Like, you have to also realize that other person that may be talking trash to you or saying shit to you, that's him just playing basketball at the end of the day. It's just the competitive spirits in him. Like, don't take everything so personal. But doing the thumbs down to the crowd, like, he clearly can't deal with MSG. He clearly can't deal with the bright lights. You got to be tough-minded. You got to be Derek Jeter, Eli Manning-like to be successful in New York. And Julius Randle's not mentally tough. When he walked into the Grizzlies huddle, like, you could say maybe, like, the timeout was over or anything like that. But why are you walking over there? Are you just trying to start something? And it eventually did start something. Like, it just makes no sense at all. The things he does sometimes when it comes to not even just playing basketball makes no sense. Like, obviously he's playing basketball, he's out there on the floor, but just his attitude-wise. And I hope, I hope he improves. I hope he has a successful career wherever he ends up going, because he's not, like, he'll probably be here next year, but we're probably going to look to, like, who knows, maybe he'll be back next year, but we're definitely going to explore to trade him. I'm sure Leon Rose is tired of his nonsense, but I wish him the best of luck. I'm not hoping he fails. I'm really not. I hope he figures everything out, but let me know down below your thoughts. Like, literally, he could be having this issue, or he could be getting mad picking up texts last year. Like, last year, no one would probably care last year, though, because we were winning games. Like, winning cures everything. But let me know down below your thoughts, and peace out, y'all.